education does not discriminate by gender or age. Today we are joined by Khomotso Letsolo, who is a literacy activist and also a provincial coordinator for Nalibali Trust. Hi Khomotso, and welcome to Pitso here on SABC Lehae.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Khomotso, as a literary activist, can you briefly just explain to us what is it that you do?
I consider myself a literacy activist because I need to ensure that with the organization that I'm affiliated to, that is Nalibali, we spread the love of reading, the love of stories, and we also encourage emergent writing throughout the communities that we work with. And also we are making sure that we are having engagements and partnerships with our strategic partners, be it libraries, be it schools, be it early childhood development centers. So we make sure that we partner with them and then we train them as far as reading for enjoyment is concerned, and for them to establish active reading clubs to get children to be in a space where they can get in love with books, get in love with stories, and also make sure that they teach themselves to write there. So this is to ensure that there's high quality of information and material, reading material specifically, that is distributed to our communities for these young children or for these learners to engage in and make sure that they fall in love with literacy. And at the end of the day, I'm sure we'll have a better society that understands and that can read well and that can write well and that can, understand issues much easier by engaging with people who are in the same platform with them.
And Khomotso, why are you so passionate about literacy development and its importance?
I'm passionate about that because, I'm coming from an era or from a generation where, it was not fashionable to read or write. So noticing the trend that is going on, especially with the Pulse report that we have received, that we have now increased, we were at 81%, now we have increased to that percent where children cannot read and write. So I become passionate about literacy development because I want to change the status quo. And together with the organization that I'm working for, we want to change the status quo. We don't want to have a community or a society where, reading is a taboo, writing is a taboo. Children, when you take them and put them on a podium for them to read, they cry. We don't need that. We need to change that. We need to have children who can read for comprehension, understand what they do. And it should not be from a gunpoint. It should be from the love that they have acquired throughout engaging in programs that also make sure that it activates them and encourages them to fall in love with books, to fall in love with stories and storytelling, and also the writing part of it.
And now schools are opening tomorrow, others opened today. What mindset must learners and teachers begin the year with in school fields?
I think they should just acknowledge and be at ease that the holidays are over. They should not hold on to them. They should not hold on to holidays. It is a new year, a new space, new opportunities. I need them to be rejuvenated. I need them to be prepared and have that enthusiasm to say, I need to make it better this year. I want to make sure that I change what did not work for me last year. So this year, it should be a great new platform for them to do best. We can start first by acknowledging what is happening around us. I'm sure our foot soldiers are already on the ground, making sure that they are engaging with these young people, especially because we have a big event that is coming in February, the 7th. So that is World Read Aloud Day, What we'll be doing now is to make sure that we get as many partners and as many schools to pledge to read on that day. And we will have activations. Kodimolong will have activation in schools, will have activation around their communities. So they should be ready and they should be excited to see us. They should also be excited to see their teachers, because you will not do better if you say you are going to start studying hard in October or in November when the exams are approaching. You need to be ready now. You need to be ready. First day at school, you just need to wear your ready boots and your information boots, your excitement boots, and your learning boots, so that you can be the change that you want to see in you come the end of the year. You should not be stressed. I was engaged with this young boy yesterday who is so stressed about the matric results. But because he knew the journey that he traveled last year, from the beginning of the year, and the effort that he put in that work, it doesn't scare him. It doesn't really scare him.
May you please just advise people who have dropped out of school, or even those that don't see the importance of education in its entirety?
Yeah, man. I think now we are at a level where we are confused by maybe the successes that we are seeing on social media and stuff like that. So most people think that education is not important. And I would love to change that mindset. Education is very much important. Some may have dropped out due to various reasons. Others may be being reasons that are beyond their control. But I'm still saying black child, white child, colored child, Indian child, and whichever child that is, you can still make it. There's still other opportunities that you can engage yourself on, and then make sure that you better yourself educationally, academically, because that is just what we need. It doesn't matter how perfect or how good you are with something if you don't have a paper to show it. If there's no documentation of that best practice, I'm telling you, no one will take you serious. Just make sure that you take your time, you look at your surroundings, you engage in activities and in platforms, including the establishment or institutions that can assist you to further what you have dropped out on. I need you to make it your point and make it your wish to say, I want to change what happened in the past and carry on in this new year. 2024, for me and for the rest of South Africa, it should be 2020 force. We are forcing things. We want things to happen, and we want them to happen this year. So if you have dropped out, come back, black child. Let's have this, and let's make sure that we better ourselves academically, because we cannot make it. We might think that we are not being recognized. We don't get jobs. We don't get this. We don't get that. People don't want us in their organization. Maybe it's because we don't have documentation of the best practice that we do in the community. So if you go to school and you make sure that you value that education, you make sure that that education works for you, then at the end of the day, we are all winning.
Thank you so much, Khomotso, for your time here on Pitso, and also the words of encouragement to the learners. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much. I enjoy the rest of your day as well. And I would like to urge everyone to go onto our website, that is www.nalibali.org. They will get there. Please pledge and pledge and pledge. Help us to reach out to 3 million children. This World Read Aloud Day that will be happening on the 7th of February 2024. Let's create that vibe. Let's create that excitement. Let us all be ready. Let's all want to be part of this magnitude of an event that will be happening in our country. And we need to be part wherever we are, either in school, either in our homes, either in, ECDs or libraries. Let's just be out there and make a hell out of what we need to happen, because literacy, it's fashionable, and let's all read, let's all know how to write, let's all engage in anything that has to do with books.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
That was Khomotso Letsolo, a literacy activist and also a provincial coordinator for Nalibali Trust. Welcome back to Pitso here on SABC Lehae. Now, the Africa Cup of Nations is continuing in Ivory Coast. Tonight, we will witness Bafana Bafana taking on Mali in their opening Group E match. Bafana Bafana wrapped up their preparation matches before traveling to West Africa in a goalless draw with Lesotho. Right now, we are joined via Zoom by an SABC senior sports journalist, Mazola Molife, who is currently in Ivory Coast to analyze tonight's encounter. Mazola, good morning and welcome to Pitso. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. It's a pleasure. 2 hours behind, but I'm surviving.
That's interesting. Bafana Bafana hasn't played in the AFCON since 2019 in Egypt. How prepared do you think the team is for this tournament?
Well, I mean, they've got a coach in Hugo Bruce who's been with the national team closing in on 3 years now. He knows the players well. You know, he's a lot of people might have criticized Coach Hugo for picking players that he's more used to than perhaps players that some felt on merit deserved to be in the squad. But that's a sign that the coach wants the players that he trusts, and it's a sign of preparedness, if I can put it that way.
Some people might argue that South Africa is in a slightly easy group. What is your take on that?
No, there's no easy group at the AFCON. You look at Mali with the type of players that they have, that, you know, the majority play in Europe, in the English Premier League, in Spain, in France, in Belgium. It's quality players, whereas the majority of our squad is made up 90% or even more of players that play in the DStv Premiership. So the level is not the same, whether we like it or not. And you've got Tunisia as well, who've won this competition before, you know, are giants of African football. It's going to be tough. Namibia, you know, like us, have got a lot of players playing in the PSL, and they are looking to improve their performances over the years at the Africa Cup of Nations. So there is no easy group. It's not the group of death. That I can agree, and with a lot of people who have assessed this group, but it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination.
Now, there's Lyle Foster, one of our best strikers, and he isn't in the 23-man squad. How do you think this is going to impact the team's performance?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest worries. Where are the goals going to come from? You know, if you look up front, we had Lyle Foster as an option. We had Lebu Mutiba, who's also a big player who plays in the French Ligue 1 division. Both of them got injured. Coach Hugo left out Kani Samayo, who finished you know, top goal scorer for Cape Town City in the PSL, and he's currently the joint top goal scorer this season. You know, so one wonders where the goals are going to come from. But having said that, the coach, obviously, you know, as I said, he's picked the squad that he's picked, and now we've got to back the national team and hope that they win and get the goals via the squad that he's picked, or the strikers that are available to him.
And then what do you make of the exclusion of Kanyiso Mayo, the leading goal scorer? How much are we going to miss in the team?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about now, that a lot of us here and even back home were worried about where the goals are going to come from. Even at a time when, you know, Lyle Foster was available, yes, he was getting into his groove. He wasn't necessarily the go-to guy to score the goals, like Zakele Lepasa was scoring goals earlier in the year, but they seem to have dried up. He's going into this AFCON competition with no scoring record really in the past couple of games for Orlando Pirates. A guy that was in form that would have offered us an alternative would have been Kanyisa Mayo. So let's see whether it's something that the coach lives to regret, or whether someone else can step up and have us not see the gap that he's left by not picking a player like Khanyisa.
So we know that South Africa has faced Mali before in AFCON 2013 and lost in the penalty shootouts. What can coach Hugo Broos and the team do differently this time?
Well, I mean, this is a different teams, really. Coach Hugo Broos is, he's taken his own path in deciding which criteria to use to pick players. We've seen in the last 3 years he's been coach. Mali also have got a different group of players, perhaps even a more stronger mentality, a majority of them playing in the top leagues in Europe. So, you can't look to the past, really. Yes, we might have faced each other on a couple of occasions, as well as having never lost against Namibia, having a decent record against Tunisia as well. But it depends on what happens on the day, and hopefully Coach Hugo and his players have prepared properly, adequately for this encounter.
Do you think a lot of pressure is put on Bafana Bafana to perform well, especially looking at the fact that other South African squads performed very well last year in various sports?
No, absolutely. I think, yes, again, we can't compare, cricket and rugby with football. I mean, the conditions are different, the levels are different, but Bafana Bafana have won this competition before, and even though it's as far back as 1996, they then went on to reach the semi-finals in 98, the quarterfinals after that. And it has been a bit of a slippery slope. The last one they were part of under Stuart Baxter in 2019 in Cairo, they reached the quarterfinals of the competition. As we've seen with the current results from the first group matches that have played here in Cote d'Ivoire, it's anybody's game. There's no big team, there's no small team. So Bafana can also perhaps surprise us and live up to some expectations from back home.
Thank you so much, Mazola, for your time here on Pitso. Enjoy the rest of your day that side.
Thank you so much for the invitation.